Most foster parents are really good and they're really loving and they want to open their home and their family. But you have those moments where it's hard for you to receive that kind of love and support because you think, okay, your entire life is mostly filled with the abandonment and the rejection.
I often ask people to think about how you would feel as an adult if I walked into your home and said, you have to come with me. I can't tell you very much about where we're going. I don't know when you're going to see your mom and dad again. You're going to leave your school, you're going to leave your friends, you're going to leave your family, and I don't know when you're going to see them again.
At age 1, I was removed from my mom and her significant other. Trauma is so prevalent, and it's so highly prevalent in foster youth because that's usually why they enter into foster care.
One of the hard parts about being in foster care is often kids move 2, 3, 4, or 5 times.
These kids already are going through probably neglect and abuse at home, so there's a couple of ACEs, traumas. Now suddenly they're removed from the home they know and then put into another home. We're finding that the trauma builds up and continues.
State Representative Pat Snyder worked on 11 legislative foster care bills signed into law in 2018,
Every single one,
including provisions increasing incentive funding to retain foster homes and encourage permanent homes. He says the need is high for more placements. UW-Whitewater social work major Tina Zappa formally advocates for such bills in her leadership role in a statewide youth advisory council made up of current and former foster care children. She says after entering foster care at age 1, she moved repeatedly between her biological family and foster homes, including emergency placements due to abuse and neglect.
They didn't really have places that they knew where they were going to put me in their eyes. Like, there's a really struggle of a shortage of foster home placements.
The problem of having enough placements increasingly plagues those responsible for making that decision.
What do you think you're working on that's going right?
Like Dane County Juvenile Court Judge Shelley Gaylord, presiding here during a hearing concerning a child in a residential care center. Gaylord says she likes to accentuate the positive and give children the first chance to speak.
We've heard from many children who've come through the system as foster home placements talk often about how they feel like they don't get a chance to talk, and when they do, they feel like nobody hears them.
The girl in court appears by telephone, updating the judge about how she's working through her trauma that resulted from extreme abuse at home.
I'm going to profession a lot more, and I'm talking more about my family history.
I think we're all in agreement that the types of trauma that kids are enduring and repeated trauma that they're enduring just seems to be more severe and more long-lasting.
The reason this was a phone hearing is because the child was at a treatment center that's out of state, 400 miles from Wisconsin.
I think people would be concerned if they knew that right now our options are so limited that we're sending kids out of state. We used to have a lot more options for kids, and I feel like they have just over the past 9 years I've been here just gotten worse and worse in terms of foster homes, group homes, treatment centers, all of them, those options have kind of gone away.
From 2018 into 2019, Wisconsin placed more than 100 juveniles in out-of-state residential care centers in 17 states, placed there because the children have such high treatment needs they can't be maintained in their own communities with existing services.
When you have higher needs and fewer resources, that's a perfect storm.
A different Dane County child placed out of state talked with us about being so far from family at a treatment center in Arkansas. Her parents did not want to show her identity.
I want to go home. I really do.
This 14-year-old Wisconsin girl was being treated at Mill Creek Behavioral Health Care in a small town an hour south of Little Rock. Do you know why you had to be sent here instead of staying there?
Because none of the other facilities would accept me in Wisconsin.
The thing that was really bothering me, and the reason I think I was most happy to have you come and shine a light on this, is this idea that things have gotten to a point where we're sending kids hundreds of miles away from whatever supports they have. which are not great, but they're still the most important supports in that kid's life. And the idea that we're sending them 500, 900 miles away was just unconscionable to me.
Hundreds of miles from home, the girl in Arkansas and the girl appearing by telephone in court, where her biological parents had their say.
On behalf of the father, he continues to object to her being placed out of state. He thinks she'd be better off in Wisconsin, closer to her family.
But it was due to extreme abuse by her family that authorities were forced to remove the child from her home. The child's artwork fills the office walls of her attorney, who helped guide her care. What happened to her resulted in the need for high-level mental health care in a secured setting not available in Wisconsin.
Brave and being thoughtful.
Judge Gaylord calmly presides over tense interactions, hearing from the child's mother, also by phone.
This is going to be slow when there's a history of this kind of treatment, frankly, by you and by others. No, ma'am, it's my turn to talk.
But she has not had that chance to deal with.
The process is often fraught. Gaylord concluded this hearing encouraging the girl on the phone to keep up the hard work of dealing with her trauma.
Things that happen to you are not your fault. Things that you do are your responsibility to fix, right?
The teenager we visited in Arkansas said the intensive treatment there helped her, but she was conflicted about sending other children like herself out of state.
If it's gonna help, then go for it. But I would love to see every kid in Wisconsin just stay there, just stay at home. Yes.
Sending children out of state is a last resort. But even in the home community, the kinds of transitions children in foster care can experience layers trauma on top of trauma, according to those who've lived it.
Just the uncertainty of knowing like where your next bed is going to be, who's going to be your family next, and who you can really trust and who's being there and being real for you. It's very confusing and unsettling for a child.
Foster youth advocates like Tina Zappa are giving back, hopeful for a new generation, hopeful because of an emerging awareness of the impacts of trauma and new responses to it. She offers this advice to children who've experienced the trauma of abuse or neglect, of repeated placements, of being in the system.
You didn't choose it, and it was someone else's choice and control, and that doesn't make you like wrong or damaged or someone that can't be loved. And that's really an eye-opening and important part in the healing of any trauma that someone goes through, because that's definitely a thought that occurs very frequently is, what is wrong with me?